How did a sickly boy from Argentina become a global revolutionary? Was it fate, passion, or something else? This is the story of Che Guevara. Ernesto Che Guevara was born in Rosario, Argentina, in 1928. His birth was the start of a legendary life. He was the oldest of 5 kids in a middle-class family, which gave him a sense of duty from a young age. Che's family was quite comfortable. His dad was an engineer and his mom came from a family of landowners. This stability let him follow his interests freely, but he was often sick as a child, which shaped his character and future. Che had severe asthma, which troubled him throughout his childhood, often keeping him in bed and limiting his activities. Despite his health problems, Che loved adventure and had a sharp mind. He was determined to overcome his physical limits by learning and experiencing new things. He did very well in school, especially in languages and literature. His teachers often praised his abilities and curiosity. He also loved reading, devouring books from his father's large library. This habit stayed with him all his life. These books, from classic literature to political theory, exposed him to many ideas and views, broadening his understanding of the world. Che's early life was shaped by these experiences, which prepared him for his future as a revolutionary. His illness gave him a sense of resilience and empathy for others suffering. These traits would later define his approach to social justice and activism. His curiosity and exposure to different ideas laid the foundation for his political awakening. This time in his life was crucial in shaping the revolutionary leader he would become. Che's childhood was also marked by his friendships and explorations. He was known for his adventurous spirit and his ability to connect with people from all walks of life. These early experiences of camaraderie and exploration further fueled his desire to understand the world and fight for justice. As he grew older, Che's travels began to shape his worldview. His journeys across Latin America exposed him to the harsh realities of poverty and inequality, igniting a fire within him to seek change. These formative years were instrumental in molding the revolutionary icon we know today. Che's love for learning led him to start medical school at the University of Buenos Aires in 1948. He wanted to understand people better and chose medicine to help those in need, believing everyone deserved healthcare. But his studies didn't stop his adventurous side. Che loved to travel and meet new people. During his university years, he traveled a lot to learn more about the world. While in medical school, Che went on 2 important trips that changed his view of the world. In 1950, he traveled across northern Argentina on a motorized bicycle, an adventure that deeply affected him. This trip showed him the severe poverty and social inequality in his country, making him aware of the struggles of ordinary people. The next year, Che went on a longer trip that took him far beyond Argentina. He traveled with his friend Alberto Granado across South America on an old Norton motorcycle. This journey, later written about in his book The Motorcycle Diaries, showed him the hardships of indigenous people and the poor across the continent. It sparked his passion for social justice and revolution. Che's thirst for knowledge was insatiable. He spent countless hours reading and studying, delving into subjects like philosophy, politics, and history. This intellectual curiosity fueled his desire to understand the root causes of social injustice. Engaging with people from different walks of life, Che listened to their stories and struggles. These interactions further solidified his commitment to fighting for a fairer world. His experiences during these formative years laid the groundwork for his revolutionary ideals. Che's motorcycle trip through South America was a key moment. It showed him the tough realities of poverty, exploitation, and political oppression. He saw the hard lives of miners in Chile, the struggles of indigenous people in Peru, and the rising social unrest in the region. These experiences deeply affected Che's political views. He started to question the social order and the economic systems that caused inequality. He felt a strong empathy for the marginalized and oppressed, and a growing belief in the need for big changes. By the end of his trip, Che was no longer happy just watching the world's problems. He felt he had to do something. He went back to medical school, but his focus had changed. He was no longer driven just by a desire to heal people, but by a strong passion to fix the social problems in Latin America. His journey had awakened a revolutionary spirit within him. He was now determined to fight for justice and equality. His writings began to reflect his radical ideas and strategies for change. Che's journey of awakening left a lasting impact on Latin America and beyond.
proclama es patria o muerte.
After finishing medical school in 1953, Che decided to delay his residency. He wanted to understand the social and political problems in Latin America. He felt he needed to see the political changes happening in Latin America. The region was full of revolutionary energy and social change. He went to Guatemala, where President Jacobo Arbenz was making progressive social changes. These changes aimed to fix the deep inequalities in the country. Arbenz's policies, like land redistribution and taking over foreign-owned companies, made him a target of the U.S. government and the powerful United Fruit Company. These actions were seen as a threat to U.S. economic interests. Che arrived in Guatemala during a time of great political tension. The atmosphere was charged with tension, and the possibility of conflict was high. The country was facing more pressure from the United States, which saw Arbenz's government as a communist threat. The U.S. wanted to stop the spread of communism in its region. Che saw the CIA-backed coup that overthrew Arbenz in 1954. The coup showed U.S. intervention in Latin American affairs. He was deeply affected by the experience, which made him believe that armed struggle was the only way to fight imperialism and achieve true social justice. The events in Guatemala left a lasting impact on him. The Guatemalan experience was a turning point in Che's life. It was here that he began to see the need for a broader revolutionary movement across Latin America. It radicalized him, pushing him further towards revolutionary action and solidifying his commitment to fighting against U.S. imperialism. Che's time in Guatemala was a crucible that forged his revolutionary spirit. The fall of Arbenz was not just a political event, it was a personal awakening for Che. It underscored the lengths to which imperial powers would go to maintain control, and it steeled his resolve to fight for a liberated Latin America. After the coup in Guatemala, Che went to Mexico. There he met Fidel Castro, a young Cuban who wanted to overthrow the dictator Fulgencio Batista. Castro and his friends liked Che's smarts, passion, and strong belief in social justice. Che quickly became an important member of Castro's 26th of July movement. He was the group's doctor, but he also helped plan their military strategy and ideas. Che's time in Guatemala taught him the need for guerrilla warfare, and he shared this with Castro and the others. The meeting between Che and Fidel in Mexico was a key moment. It started a strong partnership that would change history. Their shared goals and drive would power the Cuban Revolution and inspire movements around the world. Together, they would lead the charge, igniting a revolution that would echo through the ages.
This was the scene of turmoil in the capital, Havana, as the climax of revolution was reached. Anyone suspected of sympathy for the Batista...
In 1956, Che sailed with Fidel Castro and 80 other fighters on the Grama yacht to start their revolution in Cuba. They landed in Cuba and faced many problems and losses in the early stages of the guerrilla war against Batista's forces. Despite the odds, Che's smart plans and strong will were key to the rebels' success. He moved up the ranks, becoming a comandante and leading a group of fighters to win several important battles. Che's charm and commitment to social justice also connected with the Cuban people, who increasingly supported the revolution. After 2 years of hard fighting, the revolutionaries marched victoriously into Havana on January 1, 1959. Batista's rule had ended, and the Cuban Revolution had won. Che's role in the Cuban Revolution made him a famous guerrilla leader and a symbol of revolutionary struggle. His legacy continues to inspire revolutionary movements around the world, making Che Guevara an enduring icon of resistance and change.